Welcome to another great conversation on Think Radio Presents Think Business.
Think Business is made possible by funding from the Ice Lab at Western, supporting innovative business in the rural Southwest.
Become a Think Radio Presents partner at patreon.com, and you'll also get access to premium content you won't find anywhere else. Join us today.
My guest today is music lover and entrepreneur Bryan Wickenhauser. He operates an up-and-coming outdoor music venue and event center in Gunnison, Colorado. It's called the I-Bar Ranch. But don't let the down-home name of the place fool you. Though the I-Bar Ranch got its start hosting a chuck wagon dinner and western show back in the 90s, today it has graduated under Wickenhauser's leadership to present a steady stream of great music across many genres all summer long. Wickenhauser's bio also includes a string of impressive accomplishments as a ski mountaineering racer. In case you don't know, that's one of the most demanding endurance sports in existence. 4 times he was a member of the USA Ski Mountaineering team and competed in 3 world championships. His racing days are over, but these days he's engaged in the endurance sport of entrepreneurship, building a business out of spreading his love of live music to a growing and loyal audience. Bryan, thanks for joining me today.
Alan, thanks for having me. Been looking forward to this.
So, among other things, and I want to stress that there are many other things, but let's start with this statement. You are in the music venue business, right?
I'm in the event business, yes. From weddings to concerts, yeah,
right,
for sure.
Right. And so that's why I said, there are other things in there, but let's talk about music for a second. You're in the music venue business. Now, when most people hear that, they think, or I speak for myself, I think of some old converted theater,
right,
downtown somewhere. Somebody came in and renovated it and turned it into a cool music venue.
Yeah.
That's not what you've done at all.
No. There are many mountain towns that have converted their old opera houses to that type of scenario you described, and not privy to anything like that in Gunnison now with the loss of the opera house in Gunnison has been converted into business studios and whatnot. Yeah, for a long time. So slightly lost that, not to say that it couldn't happen again, but yeah, this is a chuck wagon dinner venue is its foundational piece, if you will, built in 1990.
That's its origin story, right?
Yep. It was a converted hay meadow just built by Dick Bratton, who's still to this day my landlord, but his vision was to build the I-Bar into a chuck wagon dinner venue, much like the Bar D down in Durango or the Flying W in Colorado Springs, and make it a regional tourist attraction for the summertime and do chuck wagon dinners with the I-Bar Wranglers.
And they did that for a while.
They did, yeah, from 92 to about 2003. And
it was a fun show.
I believe so, yeah. I only saw one of the last iterations ever because in 2004, I guess, was the last year, my wife and I got married out there Labor Day weekend, and it effectively closed and was shuttered until 2013 when I raised my hand and said, "Dick, why is this thing sitting dormant out there?" And
so you were the last event before it closed down?
Arguably. I mean, maybe there was a wedding or two randomly in 2005 or 6 or 7, but it wasn't in operations daily, so to speak. It was totally shuttered, and if you knew Dick, you could certainly reach out to him and say, "Hey, Dick, we've had some friends over the years get married out there. Could we get married?" And he'd be like,
something like
that. Turn on the water, turn on the electricity, go cut the grass, move all the tables around, and put it all back the way you found it.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, knock yourself out. There was no operations behind it at all. It was just kind of BYOB, go do it yourself kind of thing, which was appealing to maybe a few people, but it wasn't really what it is.
So after all that time, you're sitting around kind of going, what can I do? Yeah. What would be fun to do now?
Yeah.
What made you land on this, of all things?
Obviously, first and foremost, my wife and I got married out there, so we had that great experience, but it wasn't something that in 2005 or 6 or 7, I was like, gosh, why, it took a lengthy period of time for me to have that light bulb moment, really, that every entrepreneur, I think, all of a sudden finds himself in and then unfolds their business. And really that light bulb moment was going down to Lake City to go see Asleep at the Wheel in 2012, and itty bitty Lake City, and I was kind of flabbergasted on the experience that I had, and knowing that there was this shuttered venue potentially in Gunnison, and we had a great experience. Drove an hour each way there back to Lake City to go see Asleep at the Wheel in 2012, and I was just like, wait a second, why is Gunnison not pulling off something like this with some national touring acts coming through at a venue? And
That's just sitting there.
yeah, that's just sitting there. And then the wedding business I already knew could potentially happen because of our great experience out there. So
Yeah.
that's the light bulb moment.
Well, so there had to be some reasons, though, why the iBar was shuttered. It was hard to make it work. Or somebody would have made it work
Ranch life is
already.
tough. Ranch life is tough, and entrepreneurship is tough in the valley. We've got the statistics here at the Ice Lab that can prove that. And
Yeah.
it's easier in bigger metro areas, but there's challenges there too, clearly. But the success rate of an entrepreneur, I think, is probably greater along the Front Range. I mean, there's just clearly more belly buttons there, and
Yeah.
Gunnison Valley is a tough place for entrepreneurs, and ranching life is no different. And ranches are on the decline. So, I mean, it takes a village out there at the iBar to pull that thing together every
Yeah.
year, and it's no joke. It's a
Well,
lot of
so
work.
this light bulb moment that you
Yeah.
described that you had, and you're right to say all entrepreneurs have them at some point
Yeah.
or another, that can be a really terrifying light bulb that goes off. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I really think this would be cool, but what was going through your head when you had this idea and you're thinking, okay, but how do we make it work?
Right. The sexy image is like, oh, live music, and it's all
It's all ticket sales
it's
and,
all
and rainbows.
ticket sales and rainbows, exactly. But man, it's a learning curve for sure, because I did not have the background in booking live music or weddings. I mean, I started some athletic events in the valley here, and I've had some success and won some athletic events as well in the valley. And I've been an entrepreneur in a couple other businesses throughout my life, and so that culmination was just like, man, this will be great for the community. Let's do it, and we'll figure out a way to, financially make it happen. I also felt that out of the gate, I'd come out and start hitting home runs right away too. I mean, that's just kind of my mentality, and
Yeah.
I don't always want to believe that. Well, you're bringing through, XYZ band, everyone's gonna come to it just because you're the only venue in town that's doing that. Well, it takes a lot of resources to get the marketing out there and get people out there for the first, second, third times, and then you get to build the repeat customer. But that takes several seasonal summers to get people out there back for a great experience again. And so it takes a
Sure.
while to grow, and I didn't want to believe that necessarily right out of the bat, because I'm like, well, we're bringing in all these great artists. Everyone's going to find out about it and come out right away. And
Oh yeah, I've heard.
that's not the case.
I just recently heard some good advice to a room full of entrepreneurs, people working on startups. And the speaker was talking about this question that all entrepreneurs have to face, practically day one, is why would people come to my business? Why would they buy my service,
Right.
buy my product?
Right.
And sort of tongue in cheek, the speaker said, well, most people answer that question because it's the coolest thing ever, right?
Yeah,
And it's so tempting to think like that.
it is, yeah.
But that's not enough. What did you find you had to do to really, because you're now in what, 7th season?
Going in our 7th season, correct.
What did you have to do to get this far? I mean, you've lasted longer than many.
Yeah, and many of the predecessors at the iBar over the years, or other entrepreneurs in town, clearly. But to answer your question specifically, I'm selling the experience and I'm selling fun, and it takes a lot of marketing efforts to get that out, and a lot of marketing dollars to spend to get that recognition out there, to get that repeat customer who's then going to use word of mouth and whatnot, and to tell that story over and over again. What a great experience we just had at the iBar Ranch, and we saw XYZ, and it may not even matter about the genre or the singer that night, but I mean, it's just providing a great experience and having a consistently great experience.
Yeah, and so I guess what you're saying is there's really no secret sauce that you have found. It's just the hard work of
Yeah, it's a lot of
typical
hard work and a lot of resources spent on marketing and getting that message out there and advertising whoever is coming through all summer long. And once again, it takes a village, because, I mean, without all the business support and sponsors, I mean, it would be really challenging. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of bands coming through, I find it very poetic that you went down to Lake City to see Asleep at the Wheel. Yeah. And Asleep at the Wheel will play the I-Bar this summer. Yeah,
for a third time, and it's I think all 3 years now have been a benefit concert for the Community Foundation in the Gunnison Valley. So that's another thing that the I-Bar is quite proud of, is the amount of money that we have helped facilitate and raise for nonprofits in the valley, and that number is over $60,000 in the 7 years that we've been operating at the I-Bar.
Because you do multiple concerts throughout the season.
Correct.
That are benefits.
Yeah.
And how does that work?
Yeah, 3 to 4 at least a year. I think this year we have at least 4 this summer, impacting 6 points, the Community Foundation, the Gunnison Valley, Gunnison Ranchland Conservation Legacy, and the Western State Track and Field programs, just to name a few, I think, this year. But it's a co-share program basically. So hopefully, we both win at the end of the day, and usually that's the case. And
but you're bringing in high-profile bands. Yeah. I mean, they're not donating their time.
No, that's the challenge. I mean, we're used to maybe getting some local deals here in the valley. These headlining bands, our national touring acts, as you put it, don't really give you the Gunnison Valley deal, a discount, really. They charge you the same price as they're going to charge in Albuquerque or New Mexico, or Albuquerque or Denver, or wherever they're touring the next day. It's kind of that's what you have to battle, and that's why we have to have so many business sponsors to do it. We're not Fiddler's Green or Red Rocks, where we can just expect 10,000 people to show up and it'll pencil out. So
right. Yeah. Well, so looking back over your 7 years. And understand, we're talking to entrepreneurs now.
Right.
This is Think Business. A lot of our listeners are people who maybe are having that light bulb moment, or they've had it and they're sitting around the kitchen table, they're trying to figure it out. And so this is your opportunity to sort of help them along.
Yeah.
Tell your story. So I got 2 questions for you. The first one, in those 7 years, was there a moment where you looked at yourself in the mirror and said, why, oh, why did I ever get into this business?
Absolutely. After the first year, after the second year, but those are tough gut check moments. But I have a very strong support network, including starting with my wife, who's amazing and helps me out at the I-Bar all summer after she's done with the track and field cross country program here at Western all summer. I mean, she's just a tough right-hand gal.
Well, sure, you can see her out there,
having her success, and I know how hard she works as a coach and an athlete, and I kind of have a lot of that similar background. We both have an athletic background and have a lot of great success, and we both know that the success didn't come overnight as much as I just want to, or she does want to, win every single time we've got an athlete in a meet, or very applicable to every time I've got an event. Unfortunately, I just had to be realistic and know that in the beginning I'm not going to hit a home run, even though I went in thinking, man, I'm the only one in the valley who's not the only one in the valley, but
pretty much.
Yeah, but there's some great venues up in Crested Butte for sure. But down in the Gunnison Valley with this venue and this place, I just felt like, how could I not lose year one? And I think that's the tough reality of knowing that as an entrepreneur, no matter what business you start, there's going to be a sizable investment, and if you're not starting with a pile full of cash that you're ready to burn the first year or two, which is the investment, just be ready to know that you are going to have to make a financial investment with a return coming not till year 3, 4, 5, you know, and you're just going to have to be patient. And I'm not always a very patient person either. Like I said, I don't like to stand on base. I like to hit home runs right away. I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right.
But, and there's just a lot of analogies I'll use and lean on through my athletic career growing up. And
well, with you keep bringing up this baseball
and I'm not a
metaphor,
baseball player either.
And I love it.
Right.
But being an entrepreneur, especially if you don't have that mountain of cash, you're also cleaning out the dugout, and you're filling the water bottles.
Absolutely.
You're sweeping the stands.
Still am.
And so you have to be prepared for that too.
Yes. Yep.
To carry all of that.
Yes.
And I love the athletic quality to your experience that you bring up, because there's large similarity between endurance sports, and
Yes.
that's what you're
I like to
known
push big
for.
rocks uphill,
Right?
right, and be successful at it. Yeah.
Like really extreme skiing and,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big similarity between endurance sport and
yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah, the life skills you learn as a successful athlete can be very applicable to the business world and entrepreneurship. I mean, I've been captains of teams and won events, but I know that I've only got to those successful positions through a lot of hard work and a goal and training for that, and then winding up smelling the roses to a degree. But
Right.
yeah, they're applicable for my life. I mean, that's how I've gotten through the tough spots, is just looking back on what I did athletically and entrepreneurial wise as well. So with every business.
So, collapsing on the trail.
Absolutely, no
Sometimes you
joke.
feel like that.
Oh gosh, I mean, these adventure races I used to do were, 600 miles long, 5-6 days long, and with a team. I mean, I had team support and mentally, physically helping each other along, and I had my low points, and they helped me through it. And we got through 600 miles, 5 days in a foreign country. And
It can be done.
it can be done.
So I told you there were 2 questions. We finally got to the
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
Think back to that 7 years, to an especially satisfying, sort of magical moment when you stood out there. I don't know. It's such a beautiful place.
Yes.
Maybe the sun is setting over there, and there's a rainbow behind you,
Right.
and the bonfire is
Right.
their kids running around.
I'm ready.
A particularly magical moment that you can recall where you said to yourself, "Oh my gosh, this is what I love to do."
You just described it, and the band would have been like year 3 with, I think it was Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and we finally packed the house, so to speak, and sold it out underneath and had lawn seating, and we did about 700 people with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And the price tag at that point in year 3, I'm like, oh my gosh, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, but how could I not? And why would people not come out for this one? And it was the rainbow, the bonfire, the packed house, and just the smile on everyone's faces, and they're all looking at myself and my wife and going, thank you for bringing in Nitty Gritty Dirt Band at that point. And that was kind of one of the earliest successes of the iBar there, and I believe it was in year 3 there, but yeah, so that would be an early one. The first 2 years were super challenging, but that was a magical light bulb moment for us, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to talk to you personally, because you've said you're not a musician.
No.
What is it about music, and particularly facilitating musicians doing what they do and audiences coming to enjoy what they do? What is it about that really fires you up?
What fires me up is, obviously, I'm a passionate person about music. You don't want to hear me play or sing any music live, but I love to listen.
Maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah, right. Maybe in my 60s, but another chapter in my life. But, at this point in my life, I love the energy of live events and live music specifically that we're talking about here. I love going to concerts and festivals and just feeling that live energy. I don't like to pursue, studio albums. I love the live editions. If I had a choice to listen to a live thing streaming over the air, a studio or a concert of that specific band, I'd always choose the live concert, the bootleg tape or whatever it was. Just that energy, the get from the crowd. And as a musician under the lights, I can't imagine that euphoric feeling up there after you played one of your great hits or whatnot, songs you're proud of, and the reaction from the crowd. Like, I feel that as well, and I love live events, live music like we were talking about here. So,
what's your favorite kind of music?
Boy, kind of depends on the mood, the day, whatever's happening in my life. I've become a lot more diverse. I did not grow up on country music, even though the iBar, when you think of the iBar, you think, well, iBar Ranch sounds like country or bluegrass venue. And I enjoy my country now more than ever. I enjoy bluegrass. I enjoy jam bands and classic rock.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, because you've brought a lot more than just country and bluegrass.
Right, and I need to. I found out quickly in year 1 and 2 that, hey, Bryan, I love all your country music you're bringing in that we kind of dug our heels in the first 2 years, but they're like, I'm out of money after show 4. Like, I can't come to show 5 and 6. I'm flat out of money. But I also did that purposefully for 2 reasons. One, the branding of the venue that I, so to speak, inherited. I mean, it's branded I-Bar Ranch. I mean, when you think about a venue that's called I-Bar Ranch, you're immediately thinking, well, bluegrass country probably. Cool, let's go check out some
Square dancing.
Yeah, square dancing, folk, Americana. You know, those genres immediately gravitate. And then, second of all, who comes up here in the summer heavily? What demographic? You know, if I had to ask you that question, and there's some smart people who know the answer, maybe because through the Tourism Association we can identify where they're predominantly coming from historically, is Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, our neighboring surrounding southerly states, and they're coming up to get out of the heat, presumably, and get up in the high country. Why we live here in the summers. I mean, they're so special, and they buy homes and invest into the community heavily. And so that demographic, the 40 to 70-year-old Texan, if you will, man, Texas loves their live music, and they love country music, and they, quite frankly, love the I-Bar and support it. And they've got the wherewithal to come out and buy the reserved and VIP tickets, et cetera, to help support a band that costs way too much money for me, I can't believe. But
well, and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band is their music, right?
Absolutely.
It's their time.
Yeah, yep. You know, Winona Judd and Charlie Daniels this summer, Asleep at the Wheel, the Bellamy Brothers. I mean, that's my bread and butter, if you will, to a degree. I mean, I love reggae as well. I love bringing in the Wailers, but it's a totally different demographic. But that's the greater answer to your question originally, is like, you know, I have to diversify the different genres to draw in the different demographics throughout the valley, because we are such a small population base. Even in the summer when it feels like, man, we're busting at the seams, we are, but I still have to pull in the different demographics because everyone loves live music. It's just that some love country, some love reggae, some love jam bands, some love, you know, rock and roll, tribute bands like, you know, the Pearl Jam. So you just got to be able to, diversification is the answer, really, to success with regards to live music in this small valley.
Is it odd to hear Pearl Jam with a bonfire going next to you?
I don't think so, because now I think people realize that, hey, it's just a great space to hear music. Turn on or bring a band in. It doesn't even matter. Right. It's just a really cool experience at the end of the day. And that's why I was kind of mentioned earlier, it doesn't really matter who's up behind the microphone and all the guitars. Like, it's just going to be a great experience. You just got to go to the I-Bar, because you're going to know some of those songs, and just the fulfilling experience you're going to leave with, it will be awesome. So it doesn't matter who's playing.
Well, you've already mentioned that you have a lot of partnerships with local businesses, people who help sponsor what you do out there. But there's one in particular that you want to, that I really would love to hear about that relationship and how that came about and why it's such a good fit. Speaking of Castle Creek Guitars.
And it's really music supporting music. They build a local guitar that, the Dobrado, and it's taken off, and it's gotten into the hands of folks like Jimmy Buffett and Fish and Tom Petty's guitarists, and others play on this guitar along with multiple other guitars they have. But man, that guitar has taken off, and so the owners there, Brian and Kent and their wives, have decided for the 6th year in a row, pony up, so to speak, and be the title sponsor again, because they believe in music, supporting music, and they love the advertising, marketing abilities of getting their guitar in a lot of these musicians' hands. And we bring in some great national touring acts, and their quality, the I-Bar's quality, so it's just this peanut butter and jelly relationship out there. But it's just a great story that when I say music supporting music, I mean, it's just awesome. So
well, it's a relationship that the viewers out there at the I-Bar benefit from, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and I hope Castle Creek sees the return as well.
You know, before we wind down, I really want to hear a little bit about your backstory.
Yeah.
Because you're out there with this iconic Colorado setting. That's where you've planted your business. But you didn't come from here.
No, I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up playing, athletically, soccer and skiing, ski racing and competitive soccer all the way through college. Went to Carroll University there in Wisconsin, and graduation weekend, we had visited Colorado a number of times, and even the Valley here for skiing. I just knew I wanted to be out to Colorado, and I also kind of thought at that point after approaching graduation from university that if I got a job there in Wisconsin, which wouldn't be a bad thing, I just knew I'd probably be stuck in Wisconsin. And later on in my high school years, we actually moved 3 miles away from a pretty iconic music and ski area venue called Alpine Valley. In the summer, they bring in all these national touring acts, and it's kind of got this on-site camping feel. In the winter, it's a ski area, and little did I know that I would be moving out here for skiing and music necessarily, but I did move to Colorado because I just wanted to, and specifically this valley, I wanted to be able to pursue some athletic pursuits in my 20s.
Skiing in particular.
Skiing in particular, right? But then I got into adventure racing out here for about 8-10 years with Team Crested Butte, and then had some great success and got to travel around the world with the team, and also for the ski mountaineering activities I got into. Got to 3 world championships, and I also pulled off the North American Ski Mountaineering World Championships here in Mount Crested Butte at CBMR, and then I helped start up. I was the founder of the Irwin Ski Mountaineering race, and also have done 20 of the 22 Grand Traverses, and was the co-race director for 5 of those. Won 3 of the Grand Traverses during my time as a co-race director.
For people who don't know what that is, describe the Traverse.
Yeah, that's
Traverse.
That's a 40-mile backcountry ski race with a partner, because you always travel through the backcountry with a partner. So team event, and you go from Crested Butte to Aspen. You leave Crested Butte at midnight, and you arrive for the fast teams for breakfast over in Aspen. So. And
it's just nice flat meadows between Crested Butte and
yeah, I think there's about 8,000
right?
vertical feet and 40 miles of ski touring, all from starting at midnight, so you're sleep deprived and trying to eat and drink while it's minus 12 out there and the winds are blowing, and you're hoping that you're going the right way.
And this draws some great athletes.
Oh yeah, top talent. We've had Europeans come over, and obviously the top North American teams from Canada and the U.S. I mean, some of the best friends and competitors live right in the valley here. It's an awesome place to train, and that's part of it. I mean, the training for the Grand Traverse is something I totally enjoy. It's backcountry skiing. That's kind of, but that's behind me. I've got that's former chapters in my life.
Well, that was my next question. Are you still competing? Or?
No, I'm not. I think I won my last Grand Traverse race year 2 of starting up the I-Bar, and had a great teammate, Brian Smith, who's still in the valley and racing all the time. But no, that I started a family. I have a 5 and 7-year-old. There'll be 5 and 8, going on 6 and 9, 2 girls, and my wife's just as busy as I've alluded to throughout the year, and so I focus on the family a lot.
Well,
try to get out and backcountry ski a lot still, but
it's possible you've got a gray hair.
Oh yeah.
So that day comes for all of us.
Oh, it does, yeah. No, and I look back fondly on those chapters in my life, and I look forward to many more other chapters, and clearly an optimist. And
well, so let's talk about that. If you were to project what another chapter might be in Bryan Wickenhauser's life, what do you dream about? What would you do next?
Man, just expound upon what I've already been doing. I mean, was one of the founders of the High Alpine Brewing Company. So I started a brewery downtown Gunnison here during the midst of operating years 3, 4, and 5 of the I-Bar Ranch, and then subsequently been bought out of the brewery. But man, there's some unique business opportunities that I think could be beneficial for the lower end of the Gunnison Valley, where I call home, and I haven't totally. I want to keep those close to the vest yet, I guess.
Okay, but, I'm asking you to give away secrets.
Yeah, but I think Gunnison is going through, and will be, the whole state of Colorado in particular is obviously going through a growth spurt. It's a great place to live, lifestyle-wise. You can work remotely, and so all those attractions, plus the tourism industry, we just got to, I think because of that, there's some unique business opportunities coming up that I might get involved in, or might just keep blowing up the I-Bar. Clearly, that's first and foremost, just keep blowing it up, because we have not hit capacity. I mean, it's so untapped out there. So,
well, what's capacity in a hay meadow?
Right, exactly, yeah.
Right? It's, you know,
Exactly.
you've got a lot of growth potential.
Yeah, 500 seated under the barn or 1,100 in a GA just under the barn. So, I mean, you take that space and you can expound upon, I mean, you can hit 3,000-4,000 people out there, and you just have to worry about, you know, toilets and parking spaces. But that's exciting to think about.
Well, you've brought up a subject that I think was the last question that I really had for you. And that is this idea that's really gaining traction, not just here and not just in Colorado, but across the middle United States, that rural economic development is kind of the hot ticket.
Yep.
There's a lot going on in places that typically have just sort of been ignored or passed by. The interstate goes right by them, and, you know, we don't think much about it. But you've been here as an entrepreneur, really involved in the whole idea of economic development. Last question, what do you think you've learned about that? What's your perspective on this idea that no, rural places really do present great opportunity?
I think they do if the lifestyle fits that entrepreneur. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are looking where, or remote workers even who are working for a big corporation that can work remotely is kind of, you know, those lone wolves out there. They might be entrepreneurs, but they also might be working, once again, for that big Fortune 500,000 company, but they can work remotely, and it's got to be the right lifestyle. I think that's ultimately what an entrepreneur or a remote worker is looking for. And, you know, to say I know exactly what that remote worker is looking for, no, but I think the Gunnison Valley and Colorado in particular has a lot of those traits that they're looking for. But similarly, sort of the coastline of California or the coastline of Texas, you know, where you can work and recreate in the same place. I mean, that's kind of been the dream, a little bit of a dream when I was a kid and we'd take vacations like, wow, wouldn't it be great to work here too? But that wasn't applicable because there was no, you know, internet really has allowed that to happen. And so these rural places that have natural pristine beauty and assets, et cetera, that can cater to your lifestyle after you clock out, or you can clock out in the middle of the day and sneak away for, you know, get some recreation in the middle of the day if that's what you like, and then punch back in, and you are vacationing and working in the same place. That's the beauty of that remote rural lifestyle, I guess.
Right. Well, and, you know, you've talked about recreation. Clearly, that's your perspective.
But you also
there are
need
other reasons, right?
Yeah, the arts and culture. I mean, you still need to have, if I would think, you need to have a fulfilling life with arts and culture, and so hopefully that rural setting, as you described, also has some of those needs. If you're trying to get that out of your life as well, arts and culture and entertainment doesn't always happen in rural communities. So
walkable community,
walkable
itself, right? You know, and also, as you say, access to maybe not the same depth of variety that you would get in the city, but certainly access to the same sorts of things.
Yeah, and that's why we're so fortunate in the Gunnison Valley to have Western Colorado University here. Just the vitality that a university town can lend in a rural setting does not happen that often. How many other rural communities have a university feel in their town? And I think if you're looking for some vitality in a rural community, you've really got to focus on the Gunnison Valley pretty quickly because it has the university, it has the ski area, it has arts and culture, entertainment, and it's got that rural lifestyle that's...
well, now you're starting to sound like a salesman.
Right, but that's why I moved here, because of those reasons, and probably you as well, I agree.
Well, Bryan, I've enjoyed the conversation a lot.
Oh, likewise, Alan.
Thanks
Look forward to seeing you on the stage this summer.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Think Radio Presents is a production of Alan Morris Media. The show's producer is Isa Forrest. Associate producer, Aaron Lewis.
Thanks for listening. Become a Think Radio Presents partner at patreon.com, and you'll also get access to premium content you won't find anywhere else. To leave a comment on today's show or to suggest a great story for a future episode, visit thinkradiopresents.com. Tune in next week for another great conversation on Think Radio Presents Think Business.